watching your live.
You sure?
I'm absolutely positive.
Radhe Radhe, Dandava Pranam, Hare Krishna. Welcome to Shri Shri Radha Vinu Bihari Mandir, Gopinath Bhavan, Shri Vrindavan Dham.
Ki Jai.
Jai. Srila Gurudev ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Rupan Gauriya Guru Varga ki Jai. Patit Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki Jai. Prem Purushottam Shachinandana Gaur Hari ki Jai. Radha Vinu Bihari Ju ki Jai. Radha Ramana Ju ki Jai. Giriraj Maharaj ki Jai. Harinama Sankirtan ki Jai. Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki Jai. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Dandava Pranam Vaisnavas.
Dandava Pranam. So we'll begin with Mangalacharan, page 1 of this book, Shri Gaudiya Giti Guccha, Vandeham, Shri Guru, Shri Yutapada Kamalam. D-A-N and D-E-H-A-M.
Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Namine Shri Krishna Leela Katane Sudaksham Kodaya Madhurya Gunaishcha Yuktam Param Varinyam Purusham Mahantam Narayanam Tvam Shirashan Namami Tridandinam Bhakta Shiromanim Cham Shri Krishna Padam Jugataika Hridhi Chaitanya Leelamrita Sarasaram Narayanam Tvam Satatam Prapadye Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Gaura Preshtaya Bhutale Srimad Bhakti Pragyano Keshava Nityanamine Ati Madhya Charitraya Swashritanam Shaparine Jiva Dukhe Sadarkaya Shri Nama Premadayine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta सरस्वती नामिने श्रीवर्षभानवी देवी गणिताय कृपाभये कृष्ण संबंध विज्ञान दैने प्रभवे नमः माधुर्योज्वल प्रेमध्य श्रीरूपानुग भक्तिदा श्री गौर करुणा शक्ति विग्रहाय नमोस्तुते नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये निरकारिणे रूपानुगविरुद्धापो सिद्धान्तध्वन्तहारिणे नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षाद्वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्भारसम्बोधे पदं गुरुजयते नमः नमो भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगवरायते गौराविर्भावभूमेस्त्वं निर्देष्टा सजनप्रिया वैष्णव सर्वभौम श्रीजगन्नाथाय ते नमः वञ्चाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जयतां सुरतौ कम्बो मम मन्दं मतेर्गति वत्सर्वस्वपदम्बोजो राधामदनमोहन दिव्यवृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमग श्रीमद्रत्नागारसिंहासनस्थो श्री श्रीराधा श्रीलगोविन्ददेव प्रेष्ठादिभिः सेव्यमानो स्मरामि श्रीमङ्गलसरसारम्भी वंशिवत्ततस्थितः कर्षन्वेणुस्वरैर्गोपी गोपीनाथ श्रीस्तुनः वृन्दाय तुलसीदेव्यै प्रियायै केशवस्य च कृष्णभक्तिप्रदे देवी सत्यवत्यै नमो नमः पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम् जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद चेतोदर्पणमार्जनं भवमहादावाग्निर्वापनं श्रेयकैरवचन्द्रिकावितरणं विद्यावधूजीवनम् आनन्दं मुनिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतास्वादनं सर्वात्मस्वपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्ण संकीर्तनम् हरेर्नाम हरेर्नाम हरेर्नामेव केवलं खलो नस्त्येव 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 गतिरन्यथा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम राम
Gurudev kabe mor se dina habe.
It's page 34, and it starts with Gurudev, K-A-B-E-M-O-R-A-S-E-I, kabe mor se dina habe. Wait, just what is that?
In this beautiful prayer by Srila Bhaktivedanta, O He Vaisnava Thakur. What tune? Page 39, sorry. And if you don't have a songbook, then Jiva Pavana Prabhu always mercifully puts the bhajan in the comment section of the thread on this post. So just scroll down to the most recent or up to the most recent post and you will find the bhajan there and you can follow along with us. Thank you, Jiva Pavana Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam. O He Vaishnava Thakur, Doyaro Sadhu, Veda Se Koruna Kori. O He Vaishnava Thakur, Doyaro Sadhu, Veda Se Koruna Kori. I can't remember if you have Jaya Jaya Nityananda Rohini Kumar. It's page 64 in this book, but I can't remember if you were able to find it and post it.
Maybe read the translation while they're looking.
So it's by Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur, Jaya Jaya Nityananda Rohini Kumar, page 64. All glories to Sri Nityananda Prabhu, the son of Rohini, the deliverer of the fallen souls. To deliver the fallen souls, he extends his two arms. With a choked voice, he stammers sweetly. Whomever he sees, he lovingly embraces. Overflowing with prema, his eyes always roll about restlessly, looking like bumblebees hovering over a golden lotus. The merciful Lord, Sri Nitai, knows the suffering of others. He has strung together a garland of the holy names, which he has bestowed upon the people of this world. He has subdued the sinners and the atheist, but he has distributed prema to the poor and the lowly. Calling out, "Alas, O Gauranga!" he falls to the earth. Nitai's whole body becomes soaked with the tears from his eyes. Within his heart, Vrindavan Das considers Sri Nityananda Prabhu to be like Mount Sumeru falling upon the earth. It's interesting here. It says that he knows the suffering of others. Sometimes people have this idea that how can Guru or Nityananda Prabhu relate with us? We're suffering in this world. They don't know anything of the suffering of this world. So how can they feel compassion toward us? But they understand the feeling of separation. And they know why we are in the situation we're in. The only reason we're in the situation we're in is because we are neglectful of Krishna. And so even if they're not feeling our exact feeling, you can be assured that in their feelings of separation from Krishna, the acuteness of their pain is millions of times more, and that's why they have so much compassion for us. Because how can one be separate from Krishna for even a moment? Their heart is breaking at the idea of it. What to speak of that reality, the feeling of it. Where Mahaprabhu says, Yugaitam nimeshena, chakshishapravarishaitam, shunyaitam jagat sarvam govinda virahename. That one moment of separation feels like millions of yugas. So how can we tolerate millions of yugas of separation? Seeing us in such a condition, their hearts bleed upon seeing that suffering. What is the suffering? The suffering is separation from service of Krishna. And so they do whatever they can. Nityananda Prabhu had said he would go door to door with a straw in his teeth, begging from door to door, "Please be merciful to me. Just call out the name of my Gauranga even once and you can purchase me." So that's why Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada said that every selfless welfare worker of Gaudiya Math should be ready and willing to expend a minimum of 200 gallons of their own blood for the spiritual deliverance of each individual jiva of this world. How much their hearts are breaking. Like our Param Gurudev's Pranam Mantra, Atimartya Charitraya Swashritanam Chapaline Jivaduke Sadartaya Shri Nama Premadayini. Seeing the suffering of the jivas of this world, they want to give the best thing that can help us to remove us from our suffering. That is Harinam, Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
Balabhadra says they are also Sarvagya, all-knowing. By definition, that means they must know, right?
Very good. It's true. They know, they understand. Srila Gurudev told us, don't think that Gurudev only knows about these things and not the other things. He understands everything. Paramatma, as we mentioned, has been the witness since time without beginning. Everything that we have forgotten, he knows all of it. All of the struggles that we have done through all of our billions and trillions of lives, all of our happiness, all of our suffering, all of our sukritis, all of our sanskars, all of our nonsense, all of our endeavors, everything. That is the function of Sri Guru to know that. to understand it. And that's why Guru manifests in the form of Madhyam Bhagavat Vaisnava, with the capacity to discriminate. As Gurudev said once, he looked upon one astrologer's forehead and he said, in your forehead I can see 10,000 lifetimes. So they know how to place us appropriately to help us progress in the path of sadhan toward prema. Patipavan Shintyavan Prabhu ki jai. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jayo Jayo Nityananda Rohini Kumar Jayo Jayo Nityananda Rohini Kumar Patita Udharo Lage Dhruvahu Pasana Patita Udharo Lage Dhruvahu Pasana Gada Gada Madhura It's in the Sanskrit section. Further in the end, somewhere near 340.
340. Starts S-A-K-H-E-K-A-L-A-Y-A. Sakhe Kalaya. 340 in the songbook. is standing next to Radha and Krishna, he is Radha Krishna. Like when Gurudev gave me Mahaprabhu, he said you don't even need to do an extra Mula Mantra for him. You could just do Radha Krishna as you like. So why don't we put peacock feathers on this Mahaprabhu?
Why don't we put peacock
Because
feathers?
he's not in the mood of a bhakta here. He's not.
Because he doesn't wear them.
Okay. Good enough. Okay.
Peacock feathers are reserved for Krishna.
Okay.
No
but
other.
he is Krishna.
You all heard the question. He is Krishna, but he's not the same exact mood as Krishna.
But when he is standing here next to Radha and Krishna,
He's still not exactly the same mood as Krishna. He's Krishna with the bhav of Radhika. So still he has his own bhav. Krishna wears peacock feathers for so many reasons. You may have seen that beautiful picture of Gurudev speaking about a peacock feather. We were there in Barshana, and the question was asked to Gurudev. You said that Radhika's name is in every peacock feather. Where? Can you show us? And Gurudev was trying to show us. But at that time, we didn't have the eyes to see.
but he says
And
gopi,
even-
gopi, 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 so...
That's in the mood of Radhika calling out to her friends.
Okay. I was just thinking because there he's Radha Krishna.
There's so many other feathers he can wear. But Krishna wears his peacock feather, which actually he sees in there. Radhika's name is in the peacock
But
feather.
in this form, is he in the mood of a bhakta?
In that form, he's in the mood of, yes. He's not in the mood of, well, okay. Krishna's always in the mood of enjoyer. This is a speciality of Mahaprabhu. Different from Srimati Radhika, and this is something that needs to be understood on a very refined level. Srimati Radhika is the Hladini, the Adhishtatri Devi of the Hladini Shakti of Krishna.
It means the pleasure potency.
That's what I was going to say. So, she is the pleasure potency of Krishna. She is the embodiment of transcendental love and affection, and there is no part of her being which has any separate self-interest other than for Krishna's happiness, his pleasure, and his benefit. Whereas Krishna's nature, as Vishai, he is the supreme enjoyer, is to take and taste and enjoy everything. And that's his right because he's God. Now, Krishna has taken the form as Sri Shachinandan Gaurahari, who after taking sannyas became known as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
This is
The particular form of Krishna that we worship, of Sachinandan Gaurahari that we worship along with Radha and Krishna is that form of Navadvip Nimai, Bhavuk Nimai. And this is said to be the eternal form in transcendental Navadvip or transcendental Svetadvip, whom we will have a simultaneous relationship with. Now, he's considered non-different from Radha and Krishna, but we need to understand something. He's not Radha. He's Krishna. Inside. Radha Bhava Dyuti Suvalitam Nomi Krishna Swarupam. He is Krishna endeavoring to enjoy the bhavs of Srimati Radhika. But Radhika herself is not endeavoring to enjoy her own bhavs. Her bhavs are her bhavs, but she's not trying to enjoy them. Her every mood is trying to serve Krishna. So we must understand this. This is a very small refining point. That's why it is said that Mahaprabhu, or Krishna in the form of Mahaprabhu, is trying to taste the bhavs of Srimati Radhika, but can never come to the final end of it. Because it is Yavad Ashray Vritti. Srila Gurudev said, when you come to the ceiling and you think there's no more, it continues to increase more and more and more. And Krishna is forever, perpetually trying to calculate, trying to taste, and trying to figure out why the topmost devotee is experiencing million times more pleasure than himself.
Jiva Pavana Prabhu is saying, I always thought that standing next to Radha and Krishna, he is the combined form when they are united by the manjaris and sakhis. So this is what my mood was thinking, was that when we were singing that, I was looking at Sachinandan, and he is the original form, Radha Krishna combined, before she takes form, is it not?
Yes and no.
Radha Chinta Niveshenam Yasya Kantir Vilokita.
That's different. That's Krishna, who's deeply absorbed in remembering Srimati Radhika, who is manifesting her complexion. But we don't want to also overlap this particular conception. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Sachinandan Gaurahari, although he is Krishna, we understand that he is Radha and Krishna's Prem Murti, the form of their love and affection. Their love and affection takes a form, and that form is Sachinandan Gaurahari. So there's two ways of thinking about it. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikriti Hladini Shakti Rasmat Ekatma. So that can be considered the original form of Radha Krishna before Krishna manifested Srimati Radhika. When he was sitting alone in Vangshivat playing his flute, and from his left side manifested Radha, or this personality who ran toward him with anurag to serve him and to please him. Therefore she is known as Radha. But we have not heard that Krishna at that time, who's sitting there playing his flute, is golden complexioned. We have not heard that. And also there's really really no time when Radhika did not exist. It is told to us from that perspective so we can understand something. So sometimes it might be like a Leela, but really there's never a time when she didn't exist. But something is told like that. That there is one original, then he separated into two, Krishna and Radha, for the purpose of tasting Pranaya Vikriti Hladini Shaktir Asmad, tasting transcendental love and affection and pleasure, although they are one soul.
It was just that the mood is not of a bhakta here.
And then again they have come together. Ekatma Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikriti Hladini Shakti Rasmat Ekatmanavapi Bhuvi Pura Deha Vedam Katoto. Again they have come together in one form. Chaitanyakyam Prakatamaduna Tadvayam Chaityamaptam. So this is known as Chaitanya Radha Bhava Duty Suvalitam. He is Krishna himself, but covered in the complexion of Radha's Bhav. The complexion of Radha's Bhav is this Gauranga or Gaurangi. So it is brilliant like molten gold and completely saturated in her moods and her bhavs. So this form that we worship along with Radha and Krishna, we say Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nahe Anya. There's no difference between them. And yet I don't want to jump the gun, so to speak, and superimpose on him that I'm putting a peacock feather on him saying you are Krishna, because he's not just Krishna, he is Krishna endeavoring to taste the bhav of Srimati Radhika. So if we put a peacock feather on him and say you are Krishna, you are Krishna, you are Krishna, this will disrupt his bhav. This we have heard from our Gurudev, we've heard this from Srila Gurudeva Maharaj and other acharyas.
That's understandable when he is in sadhak bhav, when he is here performing that leela. But when I was usually, like if there's Gauri Thai, you don't worship them together. You worship them as devotee.
Yes.
Like they're
as
God,
sadhak, yes.
but as a sadhak.
Jagat Guru.
So that's why I was saying with Radha and Krishna, you don't worship.
I mean,
them
he would look awesome with a peacock feather. But there are specialities of each deity. So we can say that although Krishna and Balaram and Radhika technically are one, but they have separate forms, and those forms have specific functions, you can say. In the same way, each gopi is not different from Srimati Radhika. But then you have Chandravali as Vipaksha, and you're not going to worship them exactly the same, or else Raghunath Das Goswami will chase you away with a stick. So there is speciality within the oneness, and that is called Achintya Bheda Abheda Tattva. There's speciality.
Okay.
There must be. And so we should worship them appropriately. Now when he's standing with them, The reason why that's able to be is because he is technically non-different from them, and yet he is still a speciality.
Even Gurudev told me I can use the Mula Mantra for Radha and Krishna when worshipping Gauranga.
Did you hear that?
This Gauranga.
So Gurudev told Sudevi that she can use the Mool Mantra for worshipping Radha and Krishna for worshipping this Gauranga. Radha Krishna Mool Mantra.
Yes.
Together. But still, because he is the manifestation of their prem, that's why we call him Prem Murti. Now, here's another example. We know that he's a manifestation of their prem. What's another manifestation of their prem? When Radha and Krishna are at Prem Sarovar, at that time, Srimati Radhika is sitting on his lap, and Madhu Mangal, I'm not going to tell the whole story, but he says to Krishna, or in front of Radha and Krishna, I have chased that Madhusudan far away and he will never return. So at that moment, Srimati Radhika begins weeping and crying, thinking, you have chased Madhusudan, which is another name for Krishna, far away and he will never return. And even directly sitting on Krishna's lap, she becomes completely overwhelmed with viraha, separation bhav, to such an extent that she begins melting in prem. And Krishna, seeing that, also begins feeling the separation, and he melts in prem. And their melted forms become Prem Sarovar. So are we going to say that Prem Sarovar is Sachinandan Gaurahari and Radha Krishna? Yes, but they still have their specialities. Radha Raman is also Radha Krishna combined. Within his form is also Srimati Radhika. Radha Raman. Govinda, Gopinath, Madan, Mohan are present there, and he is Radha Raman. But is he the same as Sachinandan Gaurahari? Yes. But no, and his complexion is blackish. Not blackish, black. He is very dark and very beautiful. Shyam Sundar. So, we worship any form of the Lord according to the particular bhav which they are experiencing, as to not superimpose any rasa bhas onto them.
Right.
Ram is Krishna. Krishna is Ram. But they're performing, Krishna has manifested in such a beautiful form as Ram. Jai Krishna, Jai Krishna.
But even Putana wouldn't approach Narasimha Bhagavan or something like that.
Narasimha is Krishna, but I doubt Putana would approach Narasimha.
Okay.
So we worship the different forms accordingly. You don't put Balagopal, baby Krishna, like this, next to Srimati Radhika like that. It's incompatible rasa. It doesn't worship Krishna according to his bhav. In this form, he's a baby. And that baby means he is of Yashoda, of Nanda, of all of those who have Vatsalya Prem. In this form, he is Sakshat Manmata, he is Madan Mohan, he is Vinod Bihari, and she is Madan Mohan Mohini. That person who's completely captivating and stealing his mind and his heart. Why does he wear a peacock feather? He wears it because it has the name of Radha. And he's showing that I'm always keeping her name on my head. And I don't know if you noticed, but also it's tilted in her direction. This implies that he's also offering it toward her. Everything that they do has deep, deep meaning. And Srila Gurudev has explained these things, but we're not going to get into them.
Okay.
There's so much there, some even much more deep. But this you can hear from when you are progressing in bhakti and going much more deep in desires, chanting, taking shelter of Harinam Prabhu under the guidance of Shuddha Vaishnava, Shiksha Guru, Rasik Bhavu Vaishnava. They will reveal these deeper and deeper meanings to you, or you might realize them on your own. So we don't want to inappropriately worship any form of the Lord which is not according to their particular bhav. So we follow as our Guru Varga have told us. We shouldn't say that this particular form is exactly the same as the form which manifests at Imlitala, where it was Krishna absorbed in the mood of Srimati Radhika who turned golden, but this is not necessarily the same form as Krishna who manifested from the womb of Mother Sachi. We cannot just say that it is exactly the same form. so many different bhavs manifest. And the interesting thing about Bhagavan, Krishna, and his transcendental, eternal energies is that each bhav manifests a form. For every bhav, there's a form, which is unlike us in this world. For every bhav, we still have the same form. And most of those bhavs are disturbing to others. But from Bhagavan and his transcendental Shaktis, each bhav manifests a form, and we worship that form according to that form's particular bhav. So as not to create the offense of, or the fault of rasa bas dosh. I hope that makes sense. What's the time? Ooh. Yeah, Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari and Hare Krishna. Thank you for asking the question. Thank you for sharing. I hope that was a little bit clear.
We understand that Gurudev said in the form of sadak, but I haven't heard like this. But I know in any mat there's no peacock feather on Mahaprabhu standing next to Radha and Krishna. That's why my question was that. Thank you.
What page is Jai Radha Madhava?
Jai Radha Madhava. Let's see. Page 158 in the small songbook.
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Jaya Gopi Janna Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Janna Jaya Yashoda
as we were chanting, guess what I was thinking about?
Mahaprabhu.
Wait, you asked a question. So, one more thing to consider. Our Param Gurudev Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj gave to this world the most amazing, most beautiful, most transcendentally revealing Shri Vinod Bihari Tattvashtakam. Radha Chintani Deshena Yasya Kantir Vilopita Shri Krishna Charanam Vande Radha Lingita Vigraham. So, that is for Vinod Bihari.
That's who they are.
Wait. So here we have Radha Vinod Bihari. That's his name, Vinod Bihari. So why would you put the exact same Vinod Bihari right next to Vinod Bihari? That would be redundant. There needs to be some speciality. Otherwise, why would he be put there? There needs to be some speciality. There is individuality. Within the oneness, there is infinite variety. Sagunam nirgunam tattvam. All transcendental qualities and at the same time no material qualities. Bheda bhedam achintyakam. Inconceivably simultaneous, different and not different. So all of these things need to be considered. Because that ashtakam is about Krishna, who came just next door right here and sat under the Imli tree, this place known as Imli Tala, as he was in deep separation from Srimati Radhika. He was just about to, he actually told her, ride on my shoulders, and as she was preparing, he disappeared from there because he heard the other gopis coming from a distance, and he didn't want them to get upset at that time. So at that moment, Srimati Radhika was feeling so much deep separation. She was searching for Krishna everywhere, and she ended up at what we now know as Mansarovar. Well, that's how Mansarovar was created. She was in such deep absorption of Krishna, in transcendental, jealous anger, part of prem, that she wept a lake of Man, which became known as Mansarovar, from her tears. And in that deep absorption for Krishna, you can see the deity of Srimati Radhika there at Mansarovar. She became blackish complexion like Krishna. Just as we heard yesterday about Baladev Prabhu, he became blackish complexion like Krishna, as he was endeavoring to help the gopis with their feeling of separation from Krishna, but he got fully absorbed into it and began feeling that deep separation. As they were crying for Krishna, he also became blackish complexion like Krishna. So Krishna came here to Imli Tala in deep separation from Srimati Radhika. Radha Chinta Niveshena means completely absorbed in remembering her. Yasya Kantir Vilopita. He actually manifested her complexion. I'm offering pranam to that feet of that Krishna, this Krishna Vinod Bihari, Shri Krishna Charanam Mande, Radha Lingita Vigraham, Radha Alingita Vigraham, who is the form of Krishna, who is fully embraced by Srimati Radhika.
So that's Gauranga.
Yes, and yes. So there's a particular Gauranga, this Gauranga, as far as we know, doesn't play a flute or wear a peacock feather, whereas this Gauranga, because they're both Gauranga, as Vinod Bihari still has a peacock feather and plays a flute. So there's still some speciality there. If it was exactly the same, then why put a different form and a different shape? There's some particular speciality. There's always some speciality. The Krishna of Radha is not the same as the Krishna of Lalita, is not the same as the Krishna of Vishaka, is not the same as the Krishna of Chandravali. Although he is the same, still he's reciprocating according to their particular bhav. Even in this world we can see the Kishori Mohan of Sudevi is not the same Kishori Mohan of his brother Prahlad, is not the same Kishori Mohan of his father Natiladish, is not the same Kishori Mohan of his sister Radhika. We have different relationships. Although I might be the same person, still I have different relationships. The difference between me and Krishna is that I am infinitesimal, I am bound by the material energy, I have very few relationships. He is infinite, he is transcendental, he is not bound by Maya, and he has unlimited transcendental relationships. He is Vibhum, this Jiva is Vibhinamsa. And this Jiva is an eternal servant and always dependent upon Krishna by its intrinsic nature. Whereas he is always in the position of master, he's always in the position of being the served, he is always in the position of Vishai in relation to this Jiva. So, I was just giving an example about how even someone in this world has so many different relationships. So that Krishna of Chandravali is her view of Krishna. And that Krishna of Srimati Radhika is her view of Krishna. And although Chandravali is a manifestation of Radhika's bhav, and technically loves him more than anyone, second to Srimati Radhika, still, according to the nature of Ras, she is in the Vipaksha group, the opposing group. Radhika is on Krishna's left side. She has Bhamya Bhav. Bhamya Bhav means a leftist mood. She's always playing this role which is increasing Krishna's transcendental pleasure infinitely more by being, as Lalita Sakhi tells her, don't give in to him. Always play this opposite mood, opposite role, and this will make him even more divinely mad. And Chandravali's mood is completely submissive. She's not different from Radhika, but yet she is different in the same way. Krishna is not different from him, and yet he is different. I hope that helps to clarify things a little bit more. But it's beautiful to be chanting Jai Radha Madhava and Hare Krishna and contemplating that. So thank you for your question, Sudevi. Okay. And the class is almost finished. Sorry, there's more.
Thank you for your answers.
Gurave Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namah Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Nilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Nama Om Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Nityanamine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girin Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam. First of all, I offer my Dandavat Pranam thousands of times at the lotus feet, at the dust of the lotus feet of my beloved Gurudev, our beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Purusha Om Vishnupad, astottara Shri Srimad Shri Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaja. And the same thousands of Dandavat Pranam, the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Purusha Om Vishnupad, astottara Shri Srimad Shri Bhaktivedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada, and to all of our Rupanga Gauriya Guru Varga. And to all Vaishnavas, past, present, and future, including all of those who are present with us today, I offer my Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
So I can't remember if there were questions yesterday. I didn't have time, or I didn't make time to go back and check over that. But there are a few things, a few transcendental truths which Srila Gurudev revealed, which are favorable for us to contemplate regarding Sri Baladev Prabhu, because yesterday here we observed his appearance day, Sri Baladev Purnima. So, I'll start with the killing of Dvidida, the gorilla. Very interesting tattva. Dvidha, Dvi means two, and Vidha or Vidhi means knowledge. So whose knowledge is split or divided inappropriately. Dvidha was an associate of Sri Ramachandra. He helped in the battle, he helped fight the war, he helped to build the bridge. He did so many services to Sri Ram, and yet he did not have a mood of proper acknowledgement or respect or honor for Lakshman. He maintained some kind of distance and disrespect toward Lakshman. Lakshman is the younger brother of Sri Ramachandra. So this same Dvidida, because his knowledge was divided, he did not understand that you cannot disrespect the ashray tattva, the best servant of the Lord, Baladev Prabhu, in the form of Lakshman, and still retain the mercy of the Lord. Although he was doing so much service externally, still he was disrespecting ashray tattva, the Supreme Personality of Servitor Godhead. So the Lord cannot actually, or will not, accept the service of that person who does not first worship Sri Guru, or who does not acknowledge Guru properly. Or as Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur, he states, it is the logic of accepting half a hen. You want to take the part that lays the egg, but you don't want to feed it. So first you must feed. That means to reach Krishna, to serve Krishna, first we must take shelter of the lotus feet of Sri Guru. As Krishna himself says, Pratamam tu gurum pujam. First of all, you worship Sri Guru. If you do not do that, then everything else is without fruit. Anyata nishphala bhavet. But if you disrespect Sri Guru, if you disrespect or go against ashray tattva, then it actually creates what is considered to be like a disturbance to Krishna. That your prayers, your chanting or whatever can be annoying to him. Not just annoying, but he will consider it offensive. Oh, you've disrespected that person who is the dearest to my heart. Then why will I want to accept anything from you? So we must be very careful for this. This is known as aparadha, which is against affection. What is against affection to Krishna's devotees? Krishna doesn't want to have any of it. He says, Sadhava hridayam mahyam, sadhava hridayam tvaham, that I don't know anyone but my devotees, and they don't know anyone but me. I am not at all independent. Aham bhakta paradhina. In fact, I am dependent on my devotees. And because of their love, the devotees of the Lord can fully capture Krishna within the core of their heart and trap him there. Chorandraganyam purusham namami. As he says, I do not reside in Vaikuntha or even the hearts of the yogis. Where do I reside? Where my devotees are coming together and remembering my names, forms, qualities, and pastimes. Mad bhakta yatra gayanti. So I reside in that place. Tomar hridoya sada govinda vishram govinda kohina mama Vaisnava paran. Krishna says that my Vaishnava, my devotee, is my life and soul. Govinda kohina mama. Govinda kohina means Govinda or Krishna is saying, Mama Vaishnava paran. My devotee is my life. Krishna is saying this. So if we are offensive to or neglectful of his ekantik, one-pointed devotee, offensive to, means against the mood of affection, then how can we expect the mercy of Krishna to come? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has warned very carefully, be careful, for this hati mata, means mad elephant offense of offending the Vaishnava or the dear devotee of Krishna, then one will not receive the mercy of Krishna and their progress will be stunted, or they will leave the path of bhakti for even thousands and thousands or millions of lifetimes. So it's quite dangerous. So what did Dvivida do? Dvivida, his intelligence, his knowledge was split, means he tried to separate Krishna from the devotee. It's like separating Radha from Krishna. Rupa Goswami did that amazing work of making sure that Radha and Krishna can remain together. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur sent Baladev Vidyabhushan Prabhu to Jaipur, and Baladev Vidyabhushan Prabhu, through the medium of all Tattva Siddhanta and presenting Govinda Bhashya, made it so that, through the mercy of Rupa Goswami, that Radha and Krishna will be worshipped together, Radha and Govinda. To this day we see that Radha and Govinda are worshipped together in Jaipur. Actually, they're always in Vrindavan. So, in this case, yes, to separate, to try to take the other half of Krishna, it's literally his other half, because the Vaishnava is his heart. Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj, there's a beautiful book called The Heart of Krishna, and that means it is his devotee. So if you try to separate the two, then literally it's like you're ripping his heart out. It's painful to his heart, so he does not accept offense to his devotees. He takes it like an arrow to his heart. That's why the conception of Mayavadism is so dangerous. because it is aparadha. It denies the form of Krishna, it denies the devotee, and it denies love itself, the medium by which the devotee and Krishna interact, love itself. It denies all of that and says it's all just illusion. So it is said that anyone who has this conception, who is entertaining this conception, who is preaching this conception, who is living in this conception, their glorification of the names, forms, qualities, and pastimes of Krishna. This means their kirtan, their preaching, their even mentioning the pastimes of Krishna in their kathas and whatever. Krishna takes it like an arrow to his own heart. So all of our Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas, including starting from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Mayavada Bhasha Shunele Hoy Sarvanash. Just hearing this, all of your inclination and bhakti can be destroyed. Don't hear these conceptions. Don't entertain them. Don't associate with them. Srila Gurudev sent a letter out to all of his disciples. My dear darling sons and daughters, I'm begging you, whatever you do, do not associate with those who are saying these things. It will be detrimental to your bhakti. Please keep a very far distance. Don't associate with those who are telling these things. So it's very, very dangerous. And this is the meaning or the idea also of dvivida. It means you're trying to separate Krishna and the devotee, or denying that other aspect. There's two aspects that make God, in essence, God. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Personality of Enjoyer Godhead, known as Vishai Bhagavan, that's the one aspect. But to make the Vishai complete, there must be something else, and that is the Ashray Bhagavan aspect, or as our Srila Prabhupada said, the Supreme Personality of Servitor Godhead. The enjoyer must enjoy something. What does the enjoyer enjoy? What the Ashray is giving. Service. So these two halves make the whole. So to separate the two, this is offensive to Krishna. Therefore, the result of that aparad is that one gradually falls into more and more degraded association. So this dvivida was neglectful of Lakshman. And in the pastimes of Krishna, he was in Dwarka, he was said to be like a gorilla. And he was very, very lewd, very, very rude. He was disrupting and disturbing so many, especially the ladies. And there he met with Balaram. What did Balaram do? Balaram had a massive fight with this dvivida. Why? Dvivida was trying to separate Balaram from Krishna. His mood was like this. So very massive fight ensued. It is said that they were grabbing trees, uprooting them and fighting. It took a long time, this fight. Because Dvivida was against Baladev. He was against Balaram. And so when he would see him, he would want to fight with him. He wanted to kill him. So Balaram had a very, very powerful fight. Very powerful fight with Dvivida. And I read from Srila Gurudeva Maharaj. Finally, after a long time, Baladev took his plow, dragged him in, and then with his club, smashed him and killed him. So what is the meaning of this? Just as we see in the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu is non-different from Balaram. Balarama Hoilo Nitai. And yet there's a speciality. But Balaram himself manifested the direct. Balaram manifested directly as Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Just as the original Krishna manifested as Sachinandan Gaurahari. And yet there's a speciality. So this Nityananda Prabhu Mahaprabhu, there are so many pastimes mentioned in Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat that person who neglects Nityananda Prabhu, Vrindavan Das Thakur says, maybe they're accepting Mahaprabhu but neglecting Nityananda Prabhu or rejecting him, I kick them in their heads. Again and again he says this, that you can't take one without the other. We are dependent in our process, this process of Rupa Anuga Bhakti. We can't just go directly to Krishna. We should see how Rupa Goswami was in his sadhak form, what kind of sadhan he did. How Raghunath Das Goswami, who's the best disciple of Rupa Goswami, what kind of sadhan he did. how he came to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. First, he required the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. Heno nitai bine bhai, Radha Krishna paitenai, dridha kori dharo nitai pai. Without accepting accepting the shelter of the lotus feet of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, Baladev Prabhu, without receiving his mercy, one cannot attain the shelter of the lotus feet of Sri Radha and Krishna. It's not possible. So even Raghunath Das Goswami ran ahead to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, don't be like a mad person. You should return home and be internally completely absorbed in serving Radha and Krishna. Braje, Radha Krishna, Manasa Seva Koribe. In Vrindavan, always, within your mind, worship Radha and Krishna. But don't be like a mad person. Externally, you should be like normal in the world. And when the time is right, when you are ripe, when you are matured, then Krishna will make all arrangements for you. But he was sent home at that point. And then by that burning separation, and by association with Vaishnavas like Haridas Thakur and Yadunandan Acharya, gradually, whatever was binding him in this world, Gurudev said his wife was more than Miss Universe. They got him married, but he had no attraction to anything in this material world. More than Miss Universe, he was only praying for the mercy of the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But he had to follow a certain protocol. What was that? So he came at a distance. By the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, he was able to have darshan from a distance, and he was kind of keeping very far away. Nityananda Prabhu began calling him, Raghunath! Raghunath, you thief, come here! Why did he call him a thief? He said, only a thief stays far away and doesn't show themselves. You tried to take what was my property without first coming to me. So if something is someone's property, you should not steal it, but you should beg them for it. Ask them for it. But don't try to steal something, otherwise you will be punished for it. So he tried to take what was Nityananda Prabhu's property. What is that? The lotus feet of Mahaprabhu. So what was his punishment? Nityananda Prabhu is very merciful. Raghunath Das Goswami offered his Dandavat Pranam at the lotus feet of Nityananda Prabhu, who then placed both of his lotus feet upon the head of Raghunath Das Goswami. Nitai Padakamala Koti Chandra Shushitala Jai Chayai Jagatujirai. His feet are more cooling than millions of moons. No? Koti Chandra Shushitala. What does that mean? It means that all of one's samsara, all of one's repetition of birth, disease, old age, and death in this material world and millions of lives will be finished. Ar kabe nitai chandir korona hoibe samsaravashanamor kabe tuchahabe. Oh, when Nityananda Prabhu will give me his mercy. Rather, Gurudev said we should pray, when, oh when will he give me his mercy? When that day comes, then samsaravashanamor, my repetition of birth and death in this material world, in samsara, will be rendered insignificant. What is that verse in Bhagavatam? Samashrita ye padapallavaplavam mahatpadam punya yasho murare mavambudir vatsapadam padam padam param padam yadvi padam natesham. That one who surrenders in such a way to such a great personality like Sri Nityananda Prabhu, the entire ocean of material existence, which is normally considered unlimited and insurmountable, becomes as easy to cross over as the water which is in the footprint, the hoofprint of a calf. Bhavam Vatsa, Vatsa means calf, Vatsa Padam, Padam Param, Param Padam. Becomes that easy to cross over. So it becomes rendered insignificant by the blessings, by the mercy of the lotus feet of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. So Raghunath Das Goswami offered his Dandavat Pranam there. Nityananda Prabhu placed his lotus feet upon the head of Raghunath. And at that time, he gave him an order. What was his punishment? No, the Vaishnavas give merciful punishments. Now you must take whatever you have with you. He had some wealth with him, and serve all of the Vaishnavas. So by this was his punishment. What a beautiful punishment. What was that punishment? Raghunath Das Goswami made a big, beautiful feast, Chiddat Dadhi Mahotsava, or this was done at Panihati. So he served this, chipped rice festival. So chipped rice and yogurt to all of the Vaishnavas. He satisfied all the Vaishnavas. And then from there, by the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, without whom he would not be able to progress further, by the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu or Baladev Prabhu, then he was able to go to the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And what did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu do? Immediately he put him in the care of Sri Swarup Damodar Goswami, who is Lalita Saki in Krishna Lila. And from that moment he became known as Swaruper Raghu, the Raghunath of Swarup Damodar Goswami, who taught him all of the beautiful moods of worshipping and serving Radha and Krishna. So this is our process. If we want to receive the mercy of Mahaprabhu, then we must take shelter of the lotus feet of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Without that, we cannot go forward. Without the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, it's not possible to receive the mercy of the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Sri Narottam Das Thakur tells us in his bhajan, Gaurangera Dutipada, Jar Dhana Sampada, there he says, Gaura Prema Rasarnave Se Tarange Jevaruve Se Radha Madhava Antaranga. That actually one will understand, first of all, that Navadvip and Vrindavan Dham are not different. And then when one dives deep into the waves, the ocean of Gaur Prem, and drowns themselves in those waves, by that, as they're diving deep in Gaur Lila, in Gaur Prema Ras, Gaur Prema Rasarnave, Setarange Jevadube, they will rise in the Yamuna into the association of Sri Radha Madhava, Se Radha Madhava Antaranga. This is the speciality of Gauriya Vaishnavism, especially coming in the line of Sri Rupa Goswami. This process. Previously, why am I speaking about Nityananda Prabhu? Because he's not different from Baladev Prabhu. And we see how Baladev Prabhu has so much compassion for the jivas of this world. No? Brajendrananda Jay Shachi Shuta Hoilo She Balarama Hoilo Nitai. The original Krishna, Brajendranandan Shyamasundar, came in this world as Shachinandan Gaurahari, tasting the bhavs of Srimati Radhika. And the original Balaram manifested in this world in Gaur Lila as Nityananda Prabhu. So on this day, or on the day of Baladev Prabhu, it is also appropriate to speak about Sri Nityananda Prabhu. So Nityananda Prabhu, it is said that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he had all of that prem in his heart. And although his nature was he wanted to give it to the world, it was blocked like a big dam, holding it back. What happened? Jagai Madai, they insulted, they hurt Sri Nityananda Prabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came there when he heard, screaming for his chakra, roaring loudly, Chakra, Chakra! He wanted to destroy these two, Jagai Madai, who had offended Sri Nityananda Prabhu. But what was the nature of Nityananda Prabhu? Feeling so much compassion for these two, he stopped Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. No, this is not what you've come for. Maybe in other incarnations, you have come to kill the demons, but now in this age in Kali Yuga, all are like demons. There's demon and devotee in every body. Are you going to kill everyone? You have not come for this purpose. Your glory will truly be known if you can remove that demonic aspect and awaken that devotee. So those two, Jagai Madai, fell at the feet of Nityananda Prabhu, begging for mercy. And Nityananda Prabhu petitioned Mahaprabhu profusely on their behalf. This is our hope. Yes, I have that demon inside also. We can feel our pulse and we can ask that question. Do I have that inside? how much of my energy is going toward Krishna and how much for my own sense gratification. That tendency to be the enjoyer, this is called demonic tendency, that I want to be the enjoyer. I want to be perfect, powerful, and happy at the expense of others. This is all inside of all of us. How can that mood be removed? By the mercy of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. So in that bhajan, Nitai Gunamani Amar, Nitai Gunamani, Abadhak Karuna Sindhu Katya Mohan, Ghare Ghare Bule Prem Amyarman. Srila Gurudev said that what is it that was going from door to door? Nityananda Prabhu broke that dam. And when a dam breaks, it floods everywhere. Even those who didn't want it were caught up in it. Only those who were duplicitous, means who shielded themselves from it, who made a bubble around themselves, were not able to receive that. But all others were caught up in that prem. It went everywhere, drowning everyone, the entire universe in prem. This was by the mercy of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Despite the disqualifications, despite the fact that they hurt him, still he was praying for their mercy. So he's the embodiment also of compassion and mercy of Mahaprabhu. And by his mercy, Mahaprabhu accepted Jagai and Madai. And not only them, but all of the universe. How merciful is Nityananda Prabhu. And he appears in our lives directly in the form of Sri Guru. Once someone asked our Gurudev, why don't we see Nityananda Prabhu there? We see Radha Krishna Mahaprabhu. Why don't we see Nityananda Prabhu? He said, because he is manifesting directly in front of you in the form of Sri Guru. So we are so indebted and so desperately needy of that mercy, and so extremely fortunate that Sri Guru has manifested in our lives and somehow or other accepted us despite our disqualifications to give us mercy. Like Nityananda Prabhu said, if you just say the name of my Gauranga even once, I will be yours. So Srila Gurudev was explaining how Nityananda Prabhu is so soft, so broad-minded, and so merciful. And he gave a beautiful example. He said, once upon a time, there was a lion who was in the forest, and a barber was coming from town, going back to his home, and he saw a lion on the path, and that lion was there, and he thought, oh no, I'm going to die. But then he noticed the lion was very sad and was just licking his own palm. And as he came a little closer to see what was going on, he realized that a massive thorn had entered the foot of that lion, and that lion was suffering intensely. So without being worried for his own life, what did he do? He went and used his tools to remove the thorn from the foot of that lion. The lion didn't hurt him, didn't bite him, didn't do anything. He accepted that because he knew the barber was trying to help. And then the barber went on his way, the lion went on his way. Many years later, that barber was falsely accused of murder. And the king gave the sentence that you are to be put to death in the pit of lions. So that lion had been captured by the king and was starved, because it's not a fun thing to watch when someone is being put to death and the lion's already fat and already satisfied. So that lion had been starved for some time, kept in a cage. That man was thrown into that pit, the cage was open, and the lion jumped to attack that man, that barber. And suddenly he realized, that's the same one who removed that thorn from my foot. And instead of attacking that barber, he began to lick him. So Srila Gurudev explained that if that lion could have that remembrance of that barber and feel so much gratefulness to that barber, imagine if anyone does any little thing for the service of Krishna, how merciful Nityananda Prabhu will be. If anyone just calls out the name of Gauranga even once, how he becomes indebted to them, and how Guru becomes if anyone has served him. How much mercy, how much compassion, how much remembrance. And so this is something also to take into consideration. So this is the mood of Nityananda Prabhu, and this is the mood of Sri Guru. Gurudev said more than millions of mothers of this world. We cannot imagine how much compassion, how much love, how much affection he feels for his disciples or hers. Janava Thakurani, Gangamata Goswamini, Himnata Thakurani. So many are there. In fact, the original guru, we can say, is Srimati Radhika, because Krishna himself is saying, Radhika Premer Guru. Everyone else says, Vande Krishnam Jagat Gurum, that Krishna is the guru of the entire universe. And Krishna himself is saying, Radhika is my guru of prem, and I am simply her dancing pupil. So then Srila Prabhupada says, so how great is Radharani? How great is she? So Sri Nityananda Prabhu, he broke open that dam and allowed that prem to flood everywhere, what was trapped in the heart of Mahaprabhu. So we're completely indebted to him. So I just wanted to relate that in terms of the nature of Baladev Prabhu, because all souls are also manifested from him. We can say in one sense they are manifested from, of course they always exist, but still he has vatsalyata toward all jivas. Oh you jivas, you are also like me. You are made to love and serve Krishna. You will not be happy by anything else but that. So let me also engage you in the service of Krishna. Accept what I'm giving. Accept the teachings. All Shastra is also manifesting from Baladev Prabhu. All Harikatha is coming from Baladev Prabhu as he's glorifying Krishna. So he has this special kind of mood, parental-like affection for all jivas. And he wants to engage us in that thing which will make Krishna happy and us happy forever. Right? Savai pungsang paro dharmo yato bhakti radhokshaje ahaitiki apratihata yayatma suprasidati. What will make the soul completely happy forever? Serving Krishna. So this yayatma means the transcendental param atma, Krishna, and also all jivatmas. By serving Krishna, we will be happy because Krishna is happy. Naturally, spontaneously, as an automatic effect. So complete perfection, complete happiness will come by serving Krishna. And this is effected by the grace and the mercy of Sri Baladev Prabhu in his many forms. As Nityananda Prabhu, as Sri Guru. In our path, we must first take shelter of Sri Guru, serving Guru and the Vaishnavas. Only by that we will get the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. Only by the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu will we get the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Only by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will we get the mercy of Radha and Krishna and be able to serve Radha and Krishna in the Nikunjas of Vrindavan. So it is all very intricately and intimately connected. The process is very defined and refined, and we will see it in the life of Sri Raghunath Das Goswami. How exclusive and one-pointed he is toward his Swamini, his Ishtadevi, Srimati Radhika, and Sri Krishna. One thing I didn't or was not able to speak about yesterday was the essential, intrinsic nature of Baladev Prabhu. Because it is said, Vrindavanam parityaja padam ekam nagachati, that Krishna never steps one footstep outside of Vrindavan. And I believe I mentioned it yesterday that Baladev never sets one foot outside of Vrindavan. But there's something interesting. We also know that Vrishabhanu Nandini, the original Srimati Radhika, never steps one foot outside of Vrindavan. But the question was asked. But Rohini is the wife of Vasudeva Maharaj. Vasudeva Maharaj didn't only have one wife, Devaki, he had many wives. Devaki was one wife, Rohini was another wife, and others were there as well. In those days, the kings could have more than one wife. Even these days, so many have more than one wife. Dasharat Maharaj had so many. Krishna had 16,108 in Dwarka. Ram only took one. Excuse me. Chitraketu Maharaj had what? Something that mentioned like 10 million or something like that. But anyhow, so Vasudeva Maharaj, his wife was Rohini, and Rohini was sent to Vrindavan to be under the care of Nanda Baba, who's related to Vasudeva Maharaj through the parental history. The father or grandfather had two prime queens. One was from a Kshatriya background, one was from a Vaishya background. And so coming from the Vaishya side was the Vaishya line. Vaishya means those who are taking care of cows and mercantile. And the Kshatriya line. So from the Kshatriya line came Vasudeva Maharaj. From the Vaishya line came Nanda Baba, Nanda Maharaj and all of his brothers. And so they actually have a connection in history. So they're like cousin brothers. In India, they don't even say cousin brother, they just say brother. You're like, really? That's your blood brother? No, that's my father, some cousin thing like that. But their mood is that we are brothers. So Vasudeva Maharaj sent Rohini to stay in the home under the care of Nanda Baba. And it is said that on one visitation that she had to Vasudeva Maharaj in Mathura in the jail cell, that she became pregnant with Baladev Prabhu. Now, how is Krishna manifest and how is Baladev Prabhu manifest? They are transcendental. They're spiritual. They're completely pure. So how are they manifest? According to Srimad Bhagavatam, Vasudeva Maharaj spoke mantra into their ears. And by that mantra, Krishna manifested. Just like Gurudev gives Diksha mantra in our ear, in the right ear, Krishna manifests in our heart. So first, by that mantra, Vasudeva Maharaj gave Diksha, essentially, Divyam Gyanam Shapayati Iti Diksha. Krishna, Krishna Prapti Hoy Jaha Hoite. Guru makes Krishna appear in the heart. So he gave mantra to Devaki, and first Krishna manifested in her heart, and then within her womb. And then in the jail cell, he manifested as a 16-year-old youth with all of his ornaments, helmet, club, conch shell disc, lotus flower, and everything. So also Rohini Maya was impregnated with Baladev Prabhu. One thing that's interesting, I'll speak about that afterward. So she was impregnated with Baladev Prabhu, who's also transcendental and not different from Krishna except for his complexion and his bhav. Although he is Krishna himself, his bhav is always to serve Krishna. Gurudev said every particle of his being is made of loving service to Krishna, and he serves in all ways. So Sri Baladev Prabhu was in the womb of Rohini. So some would say, wait, I thought Baladev never steps one foot outside of Vrindavan. So how is it possible that he could have manifested in her womb there? So Srila Gurudev explained, on the authority of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Harivamsa, and so many other Shastras and Acharyas' realizations, something very interesting. Rohini Maya is always, means Mother Rohini, is always in the mood that I am of Vrindavan. So Srila Gurudev explained that she is Vishuddha Brajabasi, completely transcendentally pure consciousness that I am a Brajabasi. And because she is of that mood, wherever she is, wherever she goes, she is carrying Vrindavan. So within her womb, that was also Vrindavan, not different. And when she received Baladev Prabhu, she received the original Balaram. Vrindavan's Balaram. So even her womb was considered not different than Vrindavan, because she's also transcendental. So Baladev has not stepped one foot outside of Vrindavan in the same way that Sri Guru never steps one foot outside of Vrindavan, but rather they carry Vrindavan everywhere, because Vrindavan is fully saturating their heart. So Vrindavan is within the heart of the Vishuddha Brajabasis. Not everyone who is here physically in Vrindavan is actually residing in Vrindavan. They might not see Vrindavan at all. Whether they have eyes or not, they are blind to the real Vrindavan. They may not be experiencing the real Vrindavan, engaging in all sorts of nonsense, nefarious activities in the name of being a Brajavasi, but not really having Brajabhav, like we hear about our 6 Goswamis. How they're always Radha Krishna Gunasmriter Madhurimanandena Samohito. Gopi bhava rasamrita dilahari kalola magno muhur. Shantya purvakanam aganan tibi kalavasani krito. He radhe prajadevite chalalite he nandashuno kuto. With this kind of moods and bhavs completely saturated in the mood of a true Brajabasi. This is Vishuddha Brajabasi. Those persons whose hearts are completely saturated with transcendental, deep, loving attachment for Krishna, they are considered Vishuddha Brajabasi. For Braj Krishna, they are Vishuddha Brajabasi. Very rare personalities. So, Rohini Maya is carrying Baladev Prabhu within her womb, but she is always in this consciousness of being a pure Brajabasi, and Baladev never stepped one foot outside of Vrindavan. So Rohini Maya was there in Vrindavan. Subsequent to her becoming pregnant with Baladev Prabhu, Devaki also became pregnant with Baladev Prabhu, interestingly enough. Srila Gurudev and our Acharyas explain that this is an expansion of the original Baladev, a manifestation of that original Baladev. So Devaki kept him in her womb for 6 months and then apparently had what would be considered a miscarriage. Actually, Yogamaya arranged to transfer that baby from the womb of Devaki to the original womb of Rohini in Vrindavan. So that Baladev merged into the original Balaram who was in the womb of Rohini Maya. And it is said that she was pregnant for, Srila Gurudev explained, 14 months. So that's what made Baladev so strong. Now we know. 14 months. And Srila Gurudev explains that based on all of the Shastras, some people say that Baladev is younger than Krishna. Gurudev said, impossible. Impossible. According to all Shastra, we cannot accept this. So Baladev was in the womb for 14 months. And he was born in Vrindavan. He was born in Vrindavan. And because Krishna's grain ceremony and Baladev's grain ceremony were done at the same time, their name-giving ceremony was done at the same time, they were playing with each other as equals, just very, very close to each other. When a baby is much older or anything like that, then there's some problem with that. So Srila Gurudev explained, what is the problem? The age mismatch doesn't give them the same sanskars at the same time. So many different sanskars are performed. There's Garbhodhan sanskar. This is before becoming pregnant. One observes proper rules and regulations. There's Diksha sanskars. There's Kanyadan sanskar. So many different sanskars that one undergoes. Impressions in their life. These days people bypass them. And then we wonder why there's problems in society. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, due to bad population, means unwanted population, or Varna Shankara. This is different than the sanskar. It means there's no sanskar. It's the result of lust. Manifests personalities in this world who are uncontrolled. Their mind is unbridled and they create havoc in society. And because of that, then Krishna needs to come periodically and clean up house. That's what he says. Yada yada hi dharmasya glane bhavati bharata abhyutanam dharmasya tadatmanam shajamyaham paritranaya sadhanam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma santarpanataya sambhavami yuge yuge. He comes to reestablish the principles of dharma because so many unscrupulous persons break dharma and by that create all kinds of havoc in society. That's why the Mahabharata war was fought. This is called Varna Shankara, unwanted population, sometimes known as latchkey children, meaning that their parents didn't want them, it was an accident kind of thing, and they're kind of just let to raise themselves and they get into all kinds of trouble and do all kinds of nonsense activities. So why did I go there? I don't know, but I'm just coming back now. Because I was speaking about why Krishna manifests in this world. So, Baladev Prabhu is Vishuddha Brajavasi. He was born in Vrindavan. This original Baladev Prabhu is also Vishuddha Brajavasi. So, who was in the womb of Devaki was transferred to the womb of Rohini. There was 14 months of pregnancy, and then Baladev Prabhu was manifested. It's interesting that we find that later on, when Nanda Baba went to Mathura with Krishna and Balaram, at that time, because Krishna and Balaram were told that they were the children of Vasudev Maharaj, first Krishna was arguing some point about it. Both Baladev and Krishna were sitting on the lap of Nanda Baba. And Krishna was speaking about it with Nanda Baba. Now, this is not necessarily the original Krishna because he's gone outside of Vrindavan, so it's a manifestation. There's different names for these forms who externally go outside of Vrindavan. Anyhow, still they're in this bhav. So Krishna is there speaking with Nanda Baba, Baladev is there speaking with Nanda Baba. And Nanda Baba gives an argument to Krishna that you have come from us. We have nurtured you. We have given you everything from the beginning. How can you leave us? And then Krishna became quite upset. That's true. Why are they trying to take me? But Baladev Prabhu, he's the son of Rohini, who's the wife of Vasudeva Maharaj. So then it was kind of like the separation of Baladev and Krishna was imminent. And Baladev was like, no. There's different kinds of parents in this world. That person who gives you all nourishment, that person who helps you, that person who raises you, who gives you all of their love and affection, this is your real parent. So as far as Baladev was always concerned, Nanda Baba, Yashoda and Rohini, they are his real parents. And suddenly they're saying, oh, Vasudeva Maharaj is your real father and Devaki is your real mother. And he's like, whoa, no, wait a second. No. He couldn't accept that. And so he argued this point also. My real parents are Nanda, Yashoda, Rohini, because they brought me up from my babyhood. They nourished me. They gave me everything. So this is the definition of real parents. Other parents, like we know some people, they have a biological father, but another father who may have raised them from their birth. So one is dad and the other one is my biological father, who does not maybe take any interest in my life. So there's a difference between that. One is my dad and the other one could be my father, or who basically made me come into this world. But there's a difference. One has all of that relationship of intimacy, of love and affection, the parental love and affection and the child's affection for their parents. And the other one might not have that same relationship. So we see that Baladev Prabhu also has this kind of mood, complete Brajabhav, that Krishna is my brother, Nanda is my father, Yashoda is my mother, Rohini is my mother. They didn't see any difference like this. So many mothers may be there, but all of the Braj mothers were their mothers. So Baladev Prabhu has this speciality and also has so much vatsalyata for Krishna. Not just friendship and brotherhood toward Krishna, but also a protective mood toward Krishna.
Yesterday you asked why Balaram is white, what the meaning was. You never discussed that.
Did someone say that?
No, you did.
Why is Baladev white? I think I did discuss it.
Well, I thought it was because he was the color of Sakya Bhav.
There are two chiefs of the cowherd boys. One's name is Balaram, one's name is Mandali Bhadra. Balaram, his complexion is white-ish. What does that represent? This complexion represents his bhav. His bhav is always serving Krishna. Although it is said that he is non-different from Krishna himself, still there's a speciality in him. And that speciality is that he is Krishna, but in the mood of serving Krishna and assisting him in every way. He has this kind of mood toward Krishna. Always looking after Krishna and serving in every single rasa, in every way. So this complexion in the transcendental realm is not like complexion in this world. Complexion in the transcendental realm is generally signifying the bhav. So we've heard that sometimes Baladev Prabhu becomes blackish complexion, sometimes Krishna becomes golden complexion, sometimes Radhika becomes blackish complexion. So his complexion is also representative of his mood, not just Sakya Ras, but also always serving Krishna. He has no selfish self-interest. Interestingly enough, it was explained and authorized by Srila Gurudev that Baladev Prabhu, especially in relationship with Krishna, he has no bhoga vritti, means no tendency to be the enjoyer. So even when he came to Vrindavan, even when he was engaging in certain pastimes with the gopis, like a Rasa Lila, he had a Rasa Lila. What is it? I'm trying to remember that line in Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna. Jaya Rama Ghata Jaya Rohini Nandan Jaya Jaya Vrindavana Vasi Jatajan. Jaya Rama Ghata Jaya. So there in Ram Ghat, which was the place of the Rasa Lila of Baladev Prabhu, he went there and he was doing these Rasa Lila pastimes. We spoke something about it yesterday, but we didn't tell everything. At a certain point, he saw that because in Rasa Lila so many of these gopis were becoming tired. But his mood became such that he did not like to see that anyone was feeling fatigued, that no drop of perspiration should come to anyone's forehead. So he called for Yamuna Devi, you should come close. And she was feeling very shy. She did not want to come close. So what did Baladev Prabhu do? He took his plow. They had been drinking Baruni juice. Baruni juice is something like honey rum. It's not something that sadhakas should undertake. When we were growing up, a lot of people on the day of Baladev Prabhu used to drink some mixture of honey and water, and a lot of it, and they would actually become somewhat intoxicated. We should not engage in the pastimes of the all-transcendental personalities, especially the pastimes of Krishna or Braja pastimes, until we are qualified to enter those pastimes. This will be detrimental to our progress in bhakti. So drinking fermented honey water or whatever, this is not for sadhakas. This is not for us. But anyhow, many people did do this, and it's just not right, not appropriate. So Baladev Prabhu became very angry that Jamuna was not coming close because he did not like to see them exhausted. He did not like to see them feeling fatigued. So he took his plow, which Baladev brings a plow. Generally, the Braj Baladev does not have a plow, but Krishna had sent this Baladev from Dwarka to pacify the gopis. So that Baladev came, and with his plow, he dragged Jamuna close. Now if you see outside where Ramghat is, Jamuna is taking a normal course, and suddenly she dips way in and comes back. So Baladev Prabhu pulled her in so that she could soothe and cool and pacify the gopis who are engaging in these pastimes. What pastimes were they engaging in? Because he doesn't have any bhoga vritti, he means the tendency to be the enjoyer. He has seva vritti. Every particle of his being is made of service to Krishna. So that was not something that he was there to enjoy, although he could be if he wanted, but his mood, his bhav is to serve Krishna. So coming together with all of those gopis, what did he do? Tannama rupa charitadi sukyatan anam smrityo kramena rasanam manasi niyojya tishtam raje tad anuragi jananugami. Together, in their association, they were remembering and feeling deep separation from Krishna's names, forms, qualities, and pastimes. And by that, his complexion changed and became darkish, like Krishna, in deep absorption. But his mood is always serving and giving to Krishna. So we hear that Yogamaya's complexion is white. She's always supporting and nourishing Krishna's pastimes. Baladev Prabhu's complexion is white. We hear in our Sri Vinodbihari Tattvashtakam, Radha Vinodbihari Tattvashtakam, starting with Radha Chinta Niveshena, Yasya kantir vilopita Shri Krishna charanam vande Radha lingita vigraham. Page 272. So, Param Gurudev Bhakti Pragyan Keshava Goswami Maharaj is speaking about the complexions. Sarve varna yatravishta Gaurakantir vikashate Sarva varnena hinastu Krishna varna prakashate. Wherever all colors exist simultaneously, Gaurakantir vikashate. Then together they will manifest Gaura, this golden or whitish complexion. Sarva varnena hinastu. However, in the absence of all color, Krishna varna prakashate. A black hue is manifest. So we spoke about this before. Because Krishna is Vishai. He's the enjoyer, taster of everything. He's absorbing everything. Everyone's love, everyone's affection, everyone's admiration. The supreme, all-attractive personality. Attracting and taking everything, but not releasing it. Then because of this, Param Gurudev is saying that his complexion is Krishna, or blackish. But who has nothing to take, but everything to give, Sarva varna yatravishta Gaurakantir vikashate. Gaura, or this golden or whitish, brilliant complexion is manifested. So Baladev Prabhu has nothing to take, but everything to give in service to Krishna. Nothing to take for himself, but only serving Krishna. So he's manifesting this brilliant, bright complexion. And we see it even in modern science. If you hear a description of black, this color, black, they have something they call like pure black. It's so dark, that black that they have come up with, that you can't differentiate. It's like when you put it in front of somebody, it looks like everything just disappears. It's that dark. It's not just a covering of something. If you look into it, it just sucks all light into it and it doesn't reflect any light. That is the definition of pure black. But what is white? They say that white is actually the combination of all colors. So when we were young, they used to have this piece of cardboard with paper on it, and all of the different colors would be there, and then they would spin it like a top. And it would spin very fast, and then you couldn't differentiate the colors, but all of the colors combined would manifest white, interestingly enough. So Param Gurudev is referencing this, where all colors exist simultaneously, a golden hue manifests. In the absence of all color, a blackish hue is manifest. So Baladev Prabhu has all moods and all bhavs of loving service. So you can compare that to all colors, all manifesting simultaneously and serving in all ways. Then all together it is manifesting this brilliant whitish complexion. He is the embodiment of transcendental loving service to Krishna. So now I'm going to check very quickly and see if there are any questions. Radha has stolen the flute and peacock feather in that combined form. Okay. There was an interesting question that came up today, but there's no time to address it now, as it is now 7:30 our time. Tomorrow we will continue with going beyond Vaikuntha. So I think it's best we can stop here, remembering the glories of Sri Baladev Prabhu. So many beautiful pastimes, so many beautiful teachings in all of his manifestations and all of his forms. But we should remember that Sri Baladev Prabhu is the transcendental associate of Krishna. He's the older brother of Krishna. So if someone asks, where did Baladev come from? He came from Mohini Maya. And what's his relationship with Krishna? He's Krishna's older brother. If one wants to actually become a real Brajabasi, they will not see that Baladev has manifest from the right side of Krishna. In Tattva, yes. But as a Brajabasi, they will never see this. They will only see that Baladev is Krishna's older brother. And this is his bhav. So before ending, I want to tell one quick little story. Katha. Baladev Prabhu also teases Krishna because he's his older brother. And Krishna believes it, so I'm not going to tell it. I'm going to save it for Janmashtami.
You need a lot of stories for those 5 hours.
Cliffhanger. Cliffhanger. So, okay, I'll tell one. Baladev Prabhu and Krishna, even though they're so young, still they were fearless of the cows and the calves. They used to hold on to the tails of calves, and the calves would take them, and they would be holding on, and literally, like water skiing, as the calves were running. I don't want to say what they were water skiing in, but
Cow dung.
yes, mixture of
Urine.
cow dung and milk and urine and everything. But they had so much fun doing so. So they would hold on to the tails of the calves as the calves would be running this way and that way, and they would enjoy and have so much fun doing so. So I'm just going to leave it there.
Jai.
We have so many kathas that we're going to tell, especially on Janmashtami day, which is coming soon.
We also wanted to ask, because we don't know what different timings everyone has, but we were wondering if we should do like a 5,
Normally we start on Janmashtami around
6
6
or 7.
or 7 p.m. our time, 6:30, doing so many bhajans and also speaking katha in between the bhajans, different Krishna songs and Madhurashtakam and this one and that one, Nandanandashtakam, telling so many tattvas and pastimes and leelas, and then more kirtan leading up till midnight when Krishna manifests in the jail cell of King Kamsa, but when he is also born from the womb of Mother Yashoda.
So we were wondering if you all want us to do a very long 5-6 hour program, or we should just do the regular program that we do and then...
Because you may be attending any Janmashtami festival anywhere else, if lockdown is not still in play.
Okay, let us know.
So yeah, please let us know what you think in the next few days so that we can plan appropriately. We might just do it ourselves.
Okay.
Okay, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupananda Guru Varga ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
Hare
Radhe Radhe
Opportunity to remember the beautiful teachings of our Gurudev and our Guru Varga, and to remember and reflect upon so many beautiful truths about Sri Baladev Prabhu, and for engaging us in our Guru Seva. We look forward to being with all of you tomorrow. Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat
Hare Krishna.
Pranam.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Sham.